It was a beautiful sight. Everything clean and white. Their first major snowfall of the season. Lake City survived only because of the tourists who flocked to the mountains during the summers, most to rent jeeps and try their skill on the Alpine Loop. And with the lake and the clear trout streams, it was a fisherman's paradise. Most of the shops closed up after Labor Day, though, making the town seem nearly deserted. The few that stayed open catered to the skiers who came to enjoy their pristine trails for a cross-country adventure, and the snowmobilers who enjoyed the numerous backcountry routes. The summer cabins closed too, and most of the resorts and bed and breakfasts. But the small lodge out by Slumgullion stayed open through winter, filling nearly all the rooms on weekends as snowmobilers headed right from the parking lot and onto the forest trails. Even though she hated the cold, Morgan no longer thought about transferring to a warmer climate. Lake City had become home. The locals treated her as one of their own now, and she knew everyone by name. Of course, that hadn't always been the case. She had been originally assigned to the Gunnison National Forest in Curacanty. She looked forward to working on Blue Mesa Lake. She'd been around water most of her life, coming from Central Florida where lakes were more numerous than towns. But she hadn't been in Gunnison a day when they told her she'd been transferred. "Just down the road, Lake City. You'll love it." She remembered taking this very drive, seeing the same view, only in June. There was no huge lake she'd be patrolling, no medium-sized town that offered most modern conveniences. No, she was assigned to the Slumgullion Earthflow in Lake San Cristobal. She'd balked at first. With personnel limited, she'd be expected to wear a lot of hats, from game warden to campground host. Oh, sure, the San Juan Mountains were beautiful, spectacular, really. But after she'd spent 2 long, lonely summers in the remote Arizona desert, isolated from people and the world, she wasn't eager to embrace the remoteness of this tiny town. But after a week of Charlie dragging her all over the mountains, through Big Blue Wilderness, La Garita Wilderness, and up to the Uncompahgre National Forest, she was hooked. She'd even fallen in love with her tiny house, one of several the Forest Service owned. Tiny, yes, and close neighbors, too, but that hardly mattered. She could walk out her back door and be swallowed up by the forest within 10 feet. The 4 identical structures had been built nearly 40 years ago to house the ever-changing personnel of the Forest Service. She and Jackson had made one of them into a home. And now when she walked out her back door and into the forest, there wouldn't be an old yellow dog ambling beside her. Too spent to even muster up the energy to chase the chipmunks that scurried ahead of them on the trail. "Hey, have you heard anything about Charlie's daughter?" Tina asked. Morgan frowned. "Other than he allegedly has one? No." "I know. You've worked for the man 7 years. You'd think you'd at least met her, right? Or at least seen a picture." "Well, Berta read an email from her, since he's retiring next year. Apparently the daughter—" "Wait, how did she read his email? And why would she read his email? You know as well as I do that he barely knows what a computer is. She always opens his email for him. And why? Because she's nosy." Tina grabbed the dash as the truck slipped on the snow and Morgan turned onto their road. "Anyway, she's coming for a visit." "The daughter?" "Yeah. She's got a ski trip planned up to Crested Butte, so she thought she'd pop over." "I wonder if Charlie will bring her around." Morgan glanced quickly at Tina. "Why do you think he never talks about her? Or doesn't have any pictures or anything? It's almost like they're estranged." "I guess not so much if she's coming to visit." "Yeah, but it's just kind of strange. She's always been the phantom daughter." Morgan pulled to a stop in front of Tina's house. "Look, I appreciate you going with me." She turned to face her and gave a small smile. "I don't think I could have done it alone." Tina leaned over and gave her a quick hug and kiss on the cheek. "We're best pals. Of course I was going with you. I've known Jackson as long as I've known you, remember?" "Thanks." "You going to be okay tonight? I mean—" Yeah. I'm going to clean out the house and put his stuff up. I'll be fine." "Well, call me if you're not. You can have dinner with us. Paul has requested pork chops." "Thanks, but I'll be fine." Although a few minutes later when she pulled into her own driveway, she wasn't so sure. Snow blanketed the short walkway and porch, and she found she was dreading going inside. There would be no one to welcome her home. No tail thumping on the floor, and no